Guys, can we just get a round of applause for this game? Let's just clap. Let's just wow. Beautiful football. Beautiful. Beautiful. There's very few things to complain about, to be honest with you. Guys, it was a game that was absolutely top class, that was unfortunately ruined by poor officiating. I'm going to be honest, as a neutral, it was ruined by poor officiating, okay? But Thomas Tuchel, Antonio Conte, love the passion, boys. Love it. Love the passion. The passion, the way that you guys set up your teams, brilliant. I love it, okay? Guys, let's get started with the lineups here. I like what Thomas Tuchel is going for here. I'm going to be honest, it would be really nice if Chelsea at some point in the future can sign some sort of striker that can actually play as a striker for them. But to be honest with you, the lineup that they have up top, they actually play really well amongst each other. But they're definitely missing that killer instinct striker up top. Like if they had like an Erling Haaland or something, it'd be really nice to have. I'm not going to say that it wouldn't, right? I will say, Thomas Tuchel, Antonio Conte, whatever happens with these managers during the time period of them being at their clubs, support these guys because these guys, they get it. They get it, man. They're guys that understand what they got to do in their teams, and I love it, okay? So, Thomas Tuchel right now, you know, obviously looking for a center back, but has a fantastic option with Reece James playing in the right center back position while being very intelligent and using Ruben Loftus-Cheek as the right mid. I like that. I like that he did that because he's actually competent at playing in that area. I'm not going to lie to you guys. Now, I will say that I understand why he wants a center back because Reece James is too dominant in that right mid position on the push forward comeback. He is way too good at it. One of the goals that he ends up scoring, right, was because of him playing in that right mid position, attacking and scoring the opportunity, okay? So it's like one of those things where it's like he can play in that area, but he's just too good at right mid. So I understand what they're going for here because if you look at this lineup, I'm not against this lineup whatsoever. Honestly, in their current situation, not at all. When N'Golo Kanté is on form, when he's playing to the best of his ability, this guy is just rapid. He's all over the pitch. He's all over the pitch like crazy. I love it, okay? If we take a look at Chelsea's substitutions, right, from what they have Cesar Azpilicueta. Very smart decision to keep Cesar Azpilicueta, especially if nothing comes out in the future, right? If you don't end up getting a center back, like a world-class center back like they want, it's a very important decision to keep someone like a Cesar Azpilicueta, because I do believe that for the majority of the season, he's the one that's probably going to be playing in the right center back position with Reece James at right mid. But then if they sign a center back, it's good for them because they have more rotation options. Because Chalobah is actually a pretty decent center back too. Probably not exactly what Tuchel wants, to be honest with you. So that's probably why they're going for another center back. They have a world-class, or they have a great replacement in Ben Chilwell for that left mid position, playing in the 3-back. Although Cucurella today, my goodness, guys. Cucurella, Koulibaly. Sterling probably had like a little bit more of a rough match, but he was still pretty nice. I still like the way that he was playing, to be honest. Like the way he, very lively player, getting involved in the attack. But Cucurella and Koulibaly today, wow, man. Koulibaly especially, Kouly Daddy for a reason. You know, the memes over here. What a signing, man. This could be one of the best signings of the season. This guy is incredible, man. He is an absolute world-class defender. I love this guy. Love him, right? Him with Thiago Silva. Thiago Silva ages like fine wine. You know this guy. Ages like fine wine. Brilliant. I love it, okay? I honestly love it. Spurs scored, okay? Spurs scored from a great long-distance strikes by Højbjerg, and they also scored from a corner kick. And you guys know corner kicks can be a little bit random sometimes, right? So I still feel like defensively they did a really nice job. Those two goals were just really nice goals for the individual talents of the players from Spurs, right? But from the Chelsea lineup, man, this is a team that wants to compete, wants to go for championships, right? They have Broja, who could play as the striker. I love that they still kept him, to be honest with you, because Broja was actually going to be transferred. And if they end up keeping him, it's actually a very good decision by them. And I hope that they actually play him a little bit more consistently because there's potential with this guy. Conor Gallagher playing in the midfield position is great. I can kind of see why he wants De Jong, because De Jong offers that certain play style in the midfield position where he can bring the ball forward, pass the ball really nicely. So I understand why they would potentially go for him too. But if they don't end up going for him, honestly, they still have some great choices in players like Kovacic and Conor Gallagher. To be honest with you, it's not like a super necessary. We really need this type of player type of situation for them, right? And then Callum Hudson-Odoi, in my opinion, I hope he gets transferred. I want to see this guy get game time because there's so much potential with this kid, and seeing him on the bench does hurt me. Same thing with Christian Pulisic a little bit. Seeing these guys on the bench does hurt me a little bit. But Christian Pulisic has more of an opportunity to play for Chelsea than Hudson-Odoi, to be honest. Because when Hudson-Odoi plays for Chelsea, Thomas Tuchel always wants to use him as a wingback, right? He always wants to use him in that right mid position, the way that Loftus-Cheek was playing today. And I feel like you're not fully utilizing his potential when you're doing stuff like that. Loftus-Cheek, I really like that idea because, he's normally a center mid that can attack and defend. So I like the idea of playing him at right mid. And to be honest, he actually played that position really nicely, which is great for them in the future for squad rotation, right? But yeah, someone like Callum Hudson-Odoi, I feel like he's definitely wasted in that position. Ziyech, I'm surprised he's still there. I thought AC Milan was going to pick him up, but stayed in the team anyways. But guys, regardless, you look at the bench for Chelsea. If Kepa ends up going out on loan, they sign that new American guy who's actually pretty decent, right? So that's a great substitute goalkeeper to have. So Chelsea's lineup set up very, very nicely. If you go over to Spurs' side, right? Not even better, but it's a team that can challenge for titles, and that's what you need, okay? Harry Kane, Heung-min Son, Kulusevski, Sessegnon, Bentancur, Højbjerg, Emerson, Romero, Dyer, Ben Davies, Lloris. Ben Davies, let me tell you guys something about Ben Davies, okay? I'll tell you guys something about Ben Davies right now. When Mourinho was the manager at Spurs and he favored Ben Davies, everyone kept saying, why does this guy keep playing Ben Davies? Why does he keep playing Ben Davies? Antonio Conte is doing the same thing because he's actually a pretty decent player, okay? Love this lineup. Both teams playing 3-4-3. Guys, you look at this, the football today is going to be brilliant, okay? Especially for a London derby, okay? Let's take a look at their bench. Fraser Forster, a great substitute goalkeeper to have. Matt Doherty playing in the right mid position, potentially replacing Emerson, is a good option to have. Davinson Sanchez, if he can, at least he's a great player to have on the bench at the very least, but he can definitely play in this team too, right? If he gets a little bit in form, a little bit, right? Tanganga, also a good viable option. Basuma, great transfer to get in the midfield position to replace players like Bentancur or Højbjerg in the team, which is fantastic. Nice little rotation set up there that I really, really like. Huge fan of it. Ivan Perisic was also another good transfer to get to be able to rotate your left wings or your right wings, potentially mostly your left wings, right? In this 3-4-3 setup because he plays brilliantly in that area. Doesn't matter his age. Richarlison's good replacement as well for the Harry Kane situation up top, because if you don't have Harry Kane, you have to switch Heung-min Son in that area, which, to be fair, listen, even if they didn't have Richarlison or they didn't buy him, they still had a rotation thing that they could have done there, right? Which is fantastic. I'm going to be honest with you guys. Wait, is this Brian Hill? He's still there. Is this him? I think this is him. I thought he went out on loan to Valencia. Or maybe they're in the works to do that. Not sure. Lucas Moura, also another good player to have on the bench. So, guys, this starting lineup, the bench, love it. I absolutely love it. Honestly, if they were to go into the season like this, it would be fine, right? But obviously, for both teams, it'd be nice to get certain purchases here and there. So, guys, let's talk about this game and how it went. Koulibaly's first goal from the corner kick from Cucurella. Brilliant cross. Everyone was aiming for that near post area. Cucurella with a brilliant cross to Koulibaly with absolutely beautiful technique to hit it to the right side. Love that goal. Reece James with the tackle here. A proper football tackle to make so that they don't go on the counter-attack, especially if Heung-min Son has the ball. Things are going to happen with that. This situation here, so I'm going to be honest with you guys. 80th minute afterwards, I was like watching it in and out because I was doing the Dembele SBC, right? But I was still watching the important segments of the game. I will say that there are certain things that are a little bit weird, okay? So this Højbjerg opportunity, love the placement by Højbjerg. This is a fantastic finish, bottom right corner, always the hardest ones to get, right? Very, very hard strikes to get. But I'm going to be honest with you guys, as a neutral watching the game, that is 100% a foul on Kai Havertz, right? There is a foul where the referee plays advantage, and then there's a foul even from the advantage that he played, right? Very clear foul. Very surprised VAR doesn't go to that and check it, but it is what it is, right? Okay, the game continues. Antonio Conte, Tuchel get into a dispute, yellow card. I think rightfully so in Tuchel's part and Antonio Conte's part, because guys, at the end of the day, right? When you're a manager and you're doing stuff for your team, you could be completely wrong and you're gonna support your team, right? So this little fight between the two, honestly, in my case, perfectly fine, makes sense. Tuchel, rightfully so, gets angry. It should have been a foul, in my opinion. The goal shouldn't have counted. Now, here's the thing that people do a lot, right? I hate when people do this. It's really, really dumb, in my opinion. Oh, this goal shouldn't have happened, so the game would have actually been like this. Oh, so Højbjerg doesn't score the 1-0 opportunity, so the game should have been 2-1. That's not how it works. Butterfly effect is a real thing, guys, okay? If they count the foul for that 1-0 opportunity, the game is a completely different game. We don't know if Spurs would have won 2-1. We don't know if they would have tied 2-2, won 3-2, Chelsea winning. We don't know, because everything that happens after that key moment is very important. So up until this point in the game, I thought the game was great, but I do feel like the officiating from the ref was wrong, in my opinion, right? I was watching the replays of the Kai Havertz foul, 100% a foul, okay? Reece James with the opportunity. Some people were talking about the Koulibaly tackle. I thought the Koulibaly tackle was perfectly fine. To be honest, he just muscled him out. Even the guy on the floor wasn't really complaining that much, because he's like, you know what? Kouly Daddy's on me. I'm kind of messed up over here, right? The second one is also another one. In my opinion, Romero's 100% pulling Cucurella's hair down, right? He's 100% pulling his hair down for that corner kick. If that's called, it's a free kick, goes the other way, right? So listen, man, I think that Chelsea got super, super unlucky in this game today. I think it was really poor officiating. I think Spurs are lucky to get away with a point, but the decisions that Antonio Conte made during this game was very smart, because this guy, he's an emotional guy, okay? He's an emotional guy, but he's a very intelligent manager, okay? So he realizes that at some point in the game, so let me see if I can actually get summary. So you can do summary like this. Commentary? Okay, so it's a shame because this doesn't actually show info. Stats, lineups, lineups, table, news, head-to-head. No, it's not this. Let me use this other one. Yeah, so we're just going to use this one because it actually has the match events, right? So I want you guys to take a look at the goal scored and the time period that things change when the manager actually makes a decision, right? So for the most part in this game, Chelsea were the dominant side, 100%. Once they scored the first goal with Koulibaly, home advantage, momentum's carrying them like crazy. They were absolutely brilliant this game. I honestly thought they were super well balanced. Like, I love the way that the team shape was. I will say that I think it would be better if Reece James was on that right side and then they had like an informed Azpilicueta in that center back area. But regardless, they still played incredible football in the way that they were currently formatted. Credit to Thomas Tuchel, right? I really don't blame Antonio Conte for how the game was going for the most part, because it's very easy to lose control of these types of situations, but he keeps his composure and he makes subs in the right moments, because guys, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what happens from the first minute up until the 60th minute. If your score is 1-0 to the opposite team, you still have 30 minutes where you can do something. So he does a great decision here, putting on Richarlison for Ryan Sessegnon, right? So obviously he loses that 3-back type of formation where Ryan Sessegnon is the push forward comeback. Doesn't matter though, because Heung-min Son can provide that for him if he really needs it, but he doesn't. He wants to congest the middle as much as possible, right? Get those crosses coming in, because if you have Harry Kane on the pitch with Richarlison on the pitch, you can win those crosses. If Spurs can hold on to the ball for a little bit, gain that composure, right? Gain that momentum to their side a little bit and try to get that one goal scoring opportunity, it's a very big deal. Højbjerg scoring this opportunity is individual talent, okay? Getting into a space where you can hit a long shot like that well placed is because of his individual brilliance, okay? It wasn't necessarily because of a certain team play that happened for them to score. It's individual brilliance, but the individual brilliance happens many, many times when changes are made. If Richarlison is not made in this situation in the 60th minute, which is a fantastic sub to make, they don't score that opportunity. Unfortunately, the opportunity came from a challenge that I feel like was a foul, for sure, right? Cesar Azpilicueta switched on for Jorginho. Honestly, get game time as much as possible for this guy, because if they can and they don't get a center back, it'll be great for that position. The Reece James goal, really like the Reece James goal. Like I said, I don't think the Koulibaly one is a foul. They play on. Reece James, Lloris kind of thinks he's going to go to the left side, but then Reece James, to be fair, the shot, it can be seen as good and not good because it was directly at the goalkeeper. So if the goalkeeper was a little bit more composed, he would have easily saved it. But regardless, a goal is a goal. It's a great finish, good passing play. Reece James committing on the attack was fantastic. That's why I like him in that right mid position. And then look at these subs. I love these subs, man, from Antonio Conte. I love it, dude. I love it, okay? Emerson off from Lucas Moura. Basuma on for Bentancur. Ivan Perisic on for Heung-min Son in the last seconds of the game. I love that, okay? Because Heung-min Son, tired guy, works like crazy on the pitch, right? Switching Perisic on for him in that moment in the game, that's why you buy someone like Perisic. Those last 20, 25 minutes, those odd cup games from time to time, because he still has the stamina to be able to play, right? Not consistently, but he still has it. To be fair, last year for Inter, he did play a little bit consistently, but in Spurs' case for the Premier League, they're obviously going to want to work with Heung-min Son more than anything, but love the substitutions. Tuchel, same situation, right? So him subbing off Christian Pulisic for Raheem Sterling is great. Raheem Sterling worked really well in the game. He could have had a better game. He was a little bit off. Not going to say that he was a little bit off, but he was still pretty decent. Christian Pulisic sub for him is great. Conor Gallagher for N'Golo Kanté. I understand that one too, because it's the 85th minute. You need someone that's going to offer you more of a physical presence on the pitch to be able to avoid the crosses, because of players like Richarlison coming on, Heung-min Son, Harry Kane, a bunch of guys that can win the ball in the air, which is ultimately what happens at the end of the game. Broja is subbed on. Honestly, Tuchel didn't really need to add another defensive player. I thought that the setup was perfectly fine. If Broja stays up top and they go on a counterattack, they could potentially score. That's usually how teams kind of manage themselves, right? And then Harry Kane ended up scoring from the corner kick. That, again, you could see Romero, fouling Cucurella. I think the first one is way more obvious than the second one. I do think Spurs were lucky to get away with a point here, but the way that both teams played under the current situation that they were in that game, especially Conte, because it's very hard to manage those momentum-based games where you're playing a game where the other team scores a goal and you can get nothing going. The only thing that you can do as a team when that is happening to you is for you to keep possession of the ball, at least for a little bit, to kill the momentum a little bit from the other squad, right? They didn't really do that. They kept on going for those counterattacks, which, Antonio Conte likes to go for those counterattacks. If they get one, they're good to go. That's why Reece James got the yellow card. Fantastic stuff, right? But guys, regardless of the officiating, as a neutral, I think the game was great. Do I think Spurs were lucky to get away with a point? Absolutely. But it was a fantastic game to watch. These are two teams to watch out for in the championship this season, because their team is so well formatted for a squad that wants to play for the entire year and challenge for multiple trophies. I loved watching this game as a neutral. It was the best. I was so hyped. I was clapping for every goal, right? I was just clapping. The Havertz one, I mean, the Højbjerg one, I didn't clap afterwards once I saw the foul. And then the second one too, like, I'm going to be honest, I was a little bit on Chelsea's side a little bit. Like, I'm not going to lie. Tuchel getting passionate at the end of the game, it makes sense. It does. It was points taken away, in my opinion. It really was. But I still think that under the current circumstances, Antonio Conte, top class manager to handle these situations. Absolutely top class. He has to support his team, guys. At the end of the day, he has to support his team. I think he was wrong, obviously, but him being wrong doesn't matter. He has to support his team regardless. So yeah, loved watching the game. I think Chelsea would have been a little bit thing about that one. I think they wanted those points for sure. So you guys have to remember, man, there's key moments in that game where things happened and it could have been a different type of game. Harry Kane had the one opportunity where it was a brilliant pass to him, honestly. He was onside. He could have potentially scored that opportunity, didn't score the opportunity. Conte was like, no way, this guy's a beast and he doesn't score this. But, it happens, obviously. And then there's obviously the situation with Kai Havertz, too. Kai Havertz should bury that opportunity, man. That is a brilliant brilliant cross in into the 18-yard box, and he just has to it just has to be straight. Even if it hits the goalie, he just has to be straight, and he probably would have scored the opportunity too. So a lot of opportunities that game. Brilliant game to watch. Absolutely loved it. Yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. I'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace out, dudes. Love you guys.